What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Sports Mania. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a video on the Pittsburgh Steelers and why their future is not so bright. And as many of us know, the Pittsburgh Steelers started off 11-0 as one of probably the best team in the NFL, probably for the first 12 weeks of the season. And people were thinking, will they ever be stopped? And until they met the Washington football team. They lost to the Washington football team, and after that game, they went on to have a bad end of the season, losing multiple games to the Bengals, of course, the Washington football team. So they did not end the season how people thought they were going to be, and the Pittsburgh Steelers had probably the best defense in the NFL. As we all know, they have T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, Minkah Fitzpatrick, a very good front seven, and then they have a great secondary with Minkah Fitzpatrick, as I just said, Joe Hayden, Steven Nelson. So I think it was a dream team on defense, and the offense was okay. They had developing Chase Claypool, who had some plays where he really looked like a veteran or he looked like a superstar receiver. And then, of course, Juju Smith-Schuster, who many people will say ended their season. Meaning, of course, with the TikTok dances and all of that and the karma. And then they had the running game with Benny Snell and James Conner. But first I'm going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger. So Big Ben was pretty decent this season, coming off of an elbow injury that he had in 2019. And he really looked like his old self when they were on that 11-0 start. But the reason why I think their future is dark is because Big Ben is getting a lot of money, okay? We can all agree that he's not worth this money because maybe he was in the past, but he is not right now. So Big Ben's contract is a 1-year, $14 million deal, which includes $12.9 million guaranteed, which I don't think he's worth because I think Big Ben is aging naturally. And I just don't think he's putting up the same production that he was having 5-10 years ago. And I think they're better off using him as a trade asset to move up in the draft. I think Big Ben is good, but I think they relied on the defense for their success, and I don't think he really helped them win games. I think they still would have had a similar record if Mason Rudolph or Josh Dobbs was the quarterback, or Devlin Hodges. But I think Big Ben, he's going to be their QB for sure, but I think he's not the future, and I don't think the team will be a Super Bowl contender with him, at least at quarterback. The next player I want to talk about is James Conner. And James Conner really wasn't used as much as people thought he was going to be. And I know he's been dealing with injury problems, but every time he was healthy, you seem to see Benny Snell on the field more than him. And I think James Conner is a very, very valuable player because the year that Le'Veon Bell sat out due to his contract was the year that James Conner really popped off and proved that he's a top running back in the NFL. And even after that great season, Pittsburgh still wasn't using him. And he's still on a cheap contract, but I don't know why Pittsburgh isn't using him, and I don't see Pittsburgh having success in the running game if they're not going to use him and if they're going to use Benny Snell. But I think James Conner, I think they're going to move on from James Conner. Next, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh wide receivers. Now, the Steelers, they don't have Antonio Brown anymore, so now it's the Juju Smith-Schuster, Chase Claypool era. And as many of us know, Chase Claypool had some bright spots to him where he, in one game, had 4 touchdowns, and he played very well in most games. And Juju Smith-Schuster, everyone knows him. He got involved with social media, and that caused him to slack off in the numbers, and it also caused a lot of karma to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Deontay Johnson also looked like a great wide receiver, but none of these 3 wide receivers can be a number 1 right now, and I don't think it's anything good considering that Juju just got a big extension, and I just don't think it's a bright receiving game nor a bright offense. Next, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh defense. And now, we all know that the Pittsburgh Steelers have had a very good defense in recent seasons. carried by Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt. They've been the leaders of this defense, and they've been putting up great numbers. TJ Watt led the NFL this season with 15.5 sacks, and Cameron Hayward wasn't too bad himself. They also got Tyson Alula and Stephon Tuitt. Their secondary isn't too bad either. Steven Nelson, Joe Hayden, and Minkah Fitzpatrick are all great secondary defensive backs. Now, I think the Steelers' defense is great, and I think it will make them still a contender in future years, but the problem is the offense. There's not much to say about the defense. All I can say is that this is a dang good D. The problem they need to address immediately is the offense, because you have an aging quarterback in Ben Roethlisberger, who is regressing drastically. You have a poor receiving game with a couple decent wide receivers, but Juju Smith-Schuster is regressing, as many of us see. He is not putting up the same stats he was in 2018, and he really hasn't been since Antonio Brown left. And Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool aren't near wide receiver ones currently to this day. The running game is poor because they're not using James Conner at all, and they're more using Benny Snell and Jalen Samuels. I think James Conner, if they used him more, it would be a better run game. And then, of course, the offensive line is regressing. Andrew Villanueva and Mike Pouncey and Marquise Pouncey, they are both going to be gone soon. And then, of course, David DeCastro is getting up there in age. So it's an aging offense. And then Eric Ebron, he's an okay tight end. He just hasn't been great. So it's a aging, regressing offense, and I don't think if they don't change that, this team will not be a playoff contender, and that's why I think this team's future is dark. Well, tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Tell me, do you think the Steelers have a dark future? Do you think they will be a good team still? Do you think they have the best defense in the NFL? Just type whatever you want in the comments down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me what the other teams you want me to do. Maybe the Giants, maybe the Washington football team, something on the NFC West. But just tell me in the comments down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.